All righty. Well, Kyle, we spent some time, some money, put a lot of effort, and you got your own slide now. Look at how nice that looks.
Well, okay.
So before we get going, I know we've got a lot of changes to go over. I just had a scenario I wanted to throw out right away and get out of the way. Oh, now you do. Now you're cooking. So I got a call from an agent of mine over the weekend, and I'm like, wasn't 100% sure. So you got a listing that the ER says that it's listed to sell and listed to rent. Okay, so you have it on the MLS as for sale, and you have it on the MLS for rent. And then you get an accepted contract on the sale side. What do you do with the rental? Is it temporarily off market? Do you put it as pending as well? What do you do with the status on that?
What's the owner want to do?
Well, I don't know. I didn't ask the owner.
Well, that's your first problem.
Okay.
But you can still leave it on there as a active listing for lease if you so chose. It may not be the best solution, but if the owner wanted to do that, just in case this sale contract didn't go through, you could do that. Just make sure that you don't lease it out until that resolution of that sale contract is done, without having some kind of contingency in there that it could be canceled if the deal does close.
Okay, but you could also do pending. You could also do.
I wouldn't do pending on the lease side of it. Because it's not a pending lease, it's a pending sale at that point. So to Duane's point, you have a conversation with the owner. Where do you want to go with this? Like you said initially, potentially TOM it, just take it away so that it's not being actively soliciting tenants. But you could also leave it up, just like you said, make sure you account for the fact that if you're going to sign a lease, you don't do it until after you know what's going to happen with the contract.
All right, good to know. That was my question. I'm going to let you guys.
We done?
Yeah, we're done. Okay. So everybody have a great day. We'll leave you with quote of the day. All right, so a lot of talk, a lot of agents on today, and so I'm going to let you guys take over because I'm kind of here to learn as well.
There's a lot happening with our rules right now. In the commissioner, probably a year ago, maybe even more, started a process of reviewing all of the statutory rules within Arizona. They put together a package of rule changes and updates, some of which were badly needed, others that were something that she desired to have changed. And so she put this package before the legislature, this last legislative session, after a bunch of collaboration with the industry, with the Association of Realtors and stakeholders in the real estate industry. And that package was eventually passed by the legislature, and it was signed by the governor. And so now all of these new rules are in place, effective last Saturday.
Now, you guys know how I do business. Is this going to be a bad thing for me or going to help me?
It's not about how you do business, Mike.
Okay.
We all do business. Things are going to change a little bit. There's going to be some more emphasis and focus on things that maybe we haven't emphasized and focused on as much as she felt the industry needed to in the past. So it's not good or bad. It's just a bit of change.
Okay.
Yeah. And we'll go through several of the changes, but essentially what the end goal was here is to bring more accountability to the industry, to us as brokers, to licensees as practitioners, and to make sure that we are practicing at a very high level. And they put a lot of responsibility now on our brokerage and on our staff. And so you're going to hear about some of those today.
Because what is the role of the Department of Real Estate, Mike?
I'm not here to be quizzed.
Wait, you get to do the quizzing all the time. Just turning the tables. It is to protect the public, right?
I was going to say to protect the public from not only real estate agents, but just real estate in general.
In general, yeah. Just make sure that they are protected. And that's why this higher level of accountability is being pushed forward. So.
Yep.
Ready,
So
go.
go for
I
it.
don't know. I did. This is your show. I'm the color commentator.
Well, your face is up on the screen, Kyle.
It is. It is. Well, and such lovely yellow buttercup. It's great. I love it.
So we put out a message on all of our private Facebook groups last Friday, and we'll start with that, and we'll kind of cover that. Part of the statutes in the past was that the brokerage had a responsibility to maintain files with only a limited number of documents that were required to be in the file. Obviously, we went above and beyond that as a brokerage. So now the commissioner has really upped the ante on what has to be by statute in all of every broker's file, and so we put a list out that is now some of the documents that formerly wasn't required. Now they are required, and so even though we've been requiring them for quite some time, these are now statutorily required. So we're not going to have much flexibility in any of that. So the thing that changed is it's now any document that is signed by the client absolutely has to be in there. Every document. And so that's something that we're going to start updating our requirements on our file now to reflect that. Disclosure documents are a bunch of them that are now going to be required. So,
and specifically, they've been pointed out in the new statutes that disclosure. Not that we've always required the SPUDs, we've always required the claims history, but we can't be as flexible anymore now that they're statutorily called out. It's kind of a this is this. You must have them in the file. There is a path we also know agents who have talked to me know I say you can't necessarily, if you're on the buyer side of a deal, you can't necessarily, or on seller side of a deal, you've submitted a SPUDs to the buyers, you've requested it back, they haven't provided it back to you. You can't necessarily go over there and twist their arm to get it back. We need proof in the file that shows that you made the request to get it back.
Okay.
Right. So things like that.
Yeah. So and it will happen when you don't get those signed. For example, let's talk about the insurance claims history, right?
Right.
That document is typically not signed.
Correct.
But it is a disclosure document, so that is going to be have to be uploaded to each file.
When does this all go into effect?
It went into effect Saturday.
Oh,
This
okay.
past Saturday. It is currently now in effect.
I did 5 deals this weekend, so I got a lot of signatures I got to get, right?
Congratulations. This is no place to brag, Mike.
Right.
I'm just wishing.
So, but yeah, so those documents, so your agency disclosure, which didn't make our list that went out on the private Facebook groups, but the agency disclosure is a document that's now going to be absolutely required.
Yeah.
Some of these will be, if they are applicable, such as an affidavit of disclosure, lead-based paint, some of those, depending on the transaction.
The Binzer will now be required. That's a signed document that we've not in the past mandated that people upload. It just think about it kind of 10,000 overarching, 10,000-foot view. Just if it's signed by the parties, it's in the file. Okay. Period. The end. Also, the disclosure requirement maybe isn't signed. So if you're disclosed something from your seller that's or they send you an email with some sort of disclosure, obviously that's not a signature type thing. Still needs to be in the file. Okay, that's specifically called out in the statute that unsigned things, disclosures, still need to be placed in the file. So
yeah. And there's one more that we get calls on quite often in the broker team, and that's the affiliated business arrangement document.
right.
That one is certainly a disclosure. We get calls oftentimes from our buyer side where the seller's agent will send that over halfway through the transaction or partway through the transaction and says, do we have to sign that? And the reality of it is it's a disclosure document. Probably doesn't have to be signed, but now it's going to have to be part of our file. We do have to upload it. If we are making any kind of an affiliated business arrangement disclosure, by all means, get that done when you're submitting your offer if you're on the buyer side. If you're on the seller side, make sure it goes back with any counteroffer if it's not included in your offer, because that is one document that the commissioner is on top of. And so,
And which document was that again?
affiliated
okay, yeah,
business
okay.
arrangements.
Yeah.
And we as a brokerage don't have any affiliated
Correct.
business. However, you know,
We do see it a lot from a brokerage team standpoint. A lot of questions.
Yeah, a lot
come
of it
in.
with these title companies.
Correct.
And yeah, sure.
Yeah, which is fine. It's just the conversation is now. That's now. I mean, we've been talking about this in the not so distant past with our agents. Just it is a mandatory disclosure from their side, so it's okay for our clients to go ahead and sign it. It's now part of this disclosure statute requirement that we're going to need in the file as well. So,
Just real quick, I'm going to jump in just to remind everybody, we do have some people that are on the call that are not West USA agents. These are West USA Realty's brokers. So if you are not with West USA, you definitely can stay on and listen, but please make sure that you're getting the information directly from your broker team. And we have had a few questions come in, so I just want to clarify a couple points you guys have made so far.
okay.
Is the insurance claim history report now a document that is required to be signed?
No.
Okay. So then what constitutes what do we do as agents how do we show proof that we tried to get a document that is required to be signed?
email.
Yeah.
Send an email to the other side requesting. If you're on the seller side, you've provided the spuds to the buyer. They haven't sent it back. Send an email. Say, we're going to want when I talk to an agent about this, and that it won't change based on this new requirement. It's prove that you've delivered, because getting it back signed only acknowledges receipt of the document. So if they're not going to do that for you, it's great when they do, but when they're not, send in or submit the email that shows you had it as an attachment, proving you delivered it, because that's kind of the mandatory part. And then now send an email also requesting it back signed.
Is there any documents that we were requiring submitted that are now required to have a signature that wasn't required before?
Not that I'm aware of.
I don't think so either. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
sweet. Thanks, guys.
And there's a lot of moving parts still on this. The industry is still going to play some catch up, so things will be changing. Just keep your ear to the ground, and
We as a brokerage are having conversations about it. Things like I said in the beginning, things will be changing a bit. And so just stay tuned as far as that goes. There will be plenty of information put out. We're not trying to just, sneak it past you.
So that's the idea on documents and file requirements and so forth that you're going to start seeing coming through. And obviously, we as a broker team are here for you. If you've got questions when something gets put up on your file, feel free to reach out.
Right.
Kyle, you want to talk a little bit about the policies and procedures manual and the any of that?
Nope. What I do want to talk about
Uh-oh. Okay, go for it.
is the advertising.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
So there's been some changes to the statutes that cover the advertising.
Big one.
A big one. I thought it was a little one. I thought they were kind of okay.
Well, you're not the designated broker.
Yeah, get on the
You
same
are right.
page
This is
before we
why
get on
I'm
the podcast.
unconcerned with this, because it's your license that's on the line.
Now you know how I operate on a daily basis, Kyle.
I'm kidding. So, one change with advertising, as always, if you have gone to sell your own property, a property that you have ownership interest in, as an owner agent, you've had to disclose that I am, in fact, an owner agent on any advertising that you do. That now has extended to if you represent another licensee who owns a property. So if I'm representing myself, every advertisement I have must say owner agent. Now, if I'm representing Mike in the sale of one of his properties, every advertising piece must say owner agent as well. So they've just kind of bolstered that a bit and added when representing other licensees. So that's one change to the advertising requirements. We didn't talk about this, but I just lost my train of thought. Running deals outside of the brokerage. We've always, as a company, allowed for that to happen. This might be this is great for radio. We've always allowed agents to say if you have properties that you own, you can run it outside the brokerage as a for sale by owner. I don't know with the new statutory requirements for having documentation as a brokerage that we're going to be able to allow that going forward.
Well,
Was that part of your talking point?
That's
Yep.
part of the things we're going to have to figure out as we navigate some of these changes.
We'll put a pin in it and circle
Yeah,
back.
right.
Nick?
Well, I have one coming up, so we'll figure it out real fast.
Good. Yeah. Some of the other advertising things is oftentimes we want to put out market updates for the area that we practice in. So we have a subdivision or area that we do, and now there's some additional required disclosures on those advertising pieces that if those all are not your listings, you have to make that clear with specific language in the advertising piece. So
the statute actually calls out the specific language. Yep.
Right. And so if that is your gig, if that's how you are part of your marketing thing, just make sure that you are making that proper disclosure. If you got any questions, and as always, any kind of marketing material is supposed to be sent to where?
Podcast at westusa.com.
No.
Broker support.
Advertising at WestUSA.
You can tell you do it right. Jeez.
To be very clear, Mike, any marketing piece that you're putting out, whether it be on social media, on your website,
Correct.
a video that you're doing, a door hanger, you need to please send to advertising at westusa.com. With the new ADRE changes, it's even more imperative that you are using advertising at westusa.com. It's a very harmless system. The brokers respond very quickly, very efficiently, and it's going to keep yourself out of any trouble with ADRE, any nasty grams that come with it.
And that's not a change. Like I've been here 5
Yeah.
years. Everybody here has been here longer. That's not something that's new to our process. So like the advertising at westusa.com, we've preached that forever. So just as Nick said, it is, you should have been diligent in the past, but if you haven't been, it's now even more critical.
And that's one of the things with West USA Realty. A lot of the quote-unquote changes that ADRE has implemented, we've been doing for quite a long time. So the agents that have been tuning in have been following suit. There's not a lot of difference you're going to see. We just wanted to get in front of this and make sure there wasn't this massive shift coming. We're just going to go through, the general overall changes and just make sure everyone's on the same page.
Right.
And one of the other advertising thing that's a big deal that affects me more than anybody else probably in the organization, and that is the commissioner's change to the rule. Prior to last Saturday, the responsibility of the designated broker was to supervise all advertising and marketing, right? Which meant that we had to review it and approve it. Now I become personally responsible. So you as a licensee, if you violate any of these advertising rules, guidelines, not only are you subject to administrative action by the department, so am I. So I apologize in advance, but we're going to be pretty tight on this because my license is of value to me, and we're going to make sure that we are in compliance with all of the advertising.
With advertising and just the rest of these statutes that have been changed. It's a thing that we have to be diligent on, and so we will be.
Yeah.
Don't take it personal. Like I said about the requirements, it's not you. It's just we just need to make sure we're all being protected.
Right.
What else?
Yes, I'll talk about the policies and procedures. This is another big one. This is actually R 428-1103B, as in Bravo. In the past, as you know, we have always had a policies and procedures manual that we enforced regularly. Now the commissioner, as I started when we first started out here, she wants more accountability to the licensees as well as the brokerages. So now what she has required in statute that you're going to see some changes coming through in our brokerage and probably every other brokerage in the marketplace. We now have to be able to document that we are enforcing our policies and procedures manual, and we have to have, and this is what the big change is, a progressive penalty policy that we can demonstrate as being enforced. So what does that mean? Think about it from the Department of Real Estate.
Well, what it means is our beer fund is going to start to grow.
It might. But think about it from the Department of Real Estate standpoint, right? And fortunately, most of you listening have not had to experience this. But what the department does to protect the public is, if they have a licensee who violates statute, they're going to implement some sort of a penalty for that after their investigation and due diligence, right? So that'll be pretty minor,
Depending on the nature
of it. But it's
yeah.
typically, if you violated a advertising, for example, your first fine might be $1,000 and a few hours of education.
Mm-hmm.
You do it a second time, they're going to be a little more difficult on you. You do it a third time, they're going to be really hard on you. You do it a fourth time, they're going to probably come after your license. And so they are looking for that kind of a penalty policy within a brokerage. Not necessarily go after the license, but we have to be able to demonstrate that we are enforcing every piece of our policy manual. And so you're going to see some changes in that. And where this impacts a lot of agents is going to be in the timely uploading of documents to the files, right? That's one.
How much time do you have to upload a contract, Mike?
5 days
Okay.
From when?
Proceed, Duane.
from execution date.
From signature date, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yes, it is 5 days by our policy manual, right? But that's just one of the policies. There are many, many policies within our policies and procedures manual that you need to be familiar with. And if you violate those, we have to be able to document that we have enforced it. One of the issues that the commissioner had is apparently a lot of brokerages out there have the required procedures or policies and procedures manual, but they weren't enforcing it. It was just there because the statute said they had to have one.
Right.
Right. And so now they're going to put more responsibility on us as a company, every company across the board. And so you're going to see some changes and some announcements on how that's going to operate.
So let me ask you this question. I know that there's no industry that's perfect.
Right.
And every industry results in consumers getting hurt. But has our industry been that bad for the Department of Real Estate to go, hey, we've got to really step in and protect the public because so many people in the public are getting hurt?
It depends on who you talk to. You talk to the commissioner, and the answer is yes. They get to see the worst of the worst, right? And we as a brokerage, and I'm sure other designated brokers along the way, we get to see the kind of not so good, but not the worst of the worst. And so, like I said in the beginning, some of these changes I think were needed just to update the rules and the laws, but some of it is just to help the department get better control over what some of the licensees. And it, unfortunately, it's like anything else. The worst of the worst are the ones that impact all the rest of the practitioners.
Yep.
So yeah. So that's another big change that you're going to see that's coming down the pike. Do you have anything else, Kyle?
I have some rapid fire ones. If
Real quick,
if
let me
you'll
jump into
indulge
the
me.
questions before we get into there. So,
Yeah.
one of the questions was, I don't know if this is something you guys want to answer here. We go and do an email back, but what is the specific language for advertising other agents / brokers listings?
Send Kyle at westusarealty.com. I'll send it to you. It's. I mean, I don't need to regurgitate it here, but I will definitely send it to you.
Okay.
I can read it to you. It says, make a disclosure in the advertisement that indicates that the properties featured are not representative of a licensee's transaction history and include information of other licensees' transactions. So,
Perfect.
Kyle at westusarealty.com.
Perfect.
Okay, I got representative. Okay,
Good. All right, we have a question basically regarding already produced for sale signs. They're using the term tiny brokerage names on the signs. The question is, do those have to be replaced?
I don't understand the question. Tiny
So,
brokerage, like
I think the question is that the brokerage logo name is not clear and prominent, which would be a
that
violation.
should never.
of the
Yeah,
ad.
that should
Well,
not.
that's
be.
not anything new.
Correct.
Right.
So the point that I wanted to make there is if you're concerned about any advertising pieces that are already out produced by you or another agent,
Correct.
screenshot it, send it over to advertising at westusa.com.
Yep.
You're not tattletaling, you're protecting your own, which we appreciate.
Right.
And there are stickers that you can procure and put on the sign if you have to.
But don't tattletale either.
we want to make sure that we protect our own so that they're not getting a nasty gram from ADRE.
Correct.
And then one more thing. If multiple buyers or sellers need to sign a document, when should the document be submitted to the file for the broker? After the first signature or once all have been signed off?
I would say full execution of the document.
Once
by the
everybody
parties.
has. Yeah.
Okay. And then the last one, what recourse do we have if someone else is advertising our listings without permission?
I would usually want our agent to reach out to us so we can reach out to the broker of the agent who's doing it and say, hey, this is happening. I like that more informal process. I mean, in theory, they could file a complaint if they wanted, but usually the most expeditious way to take care of it is just broker to broker. We'll have a conversation and it'll get taken care of.
Correct.
And then if it doesn't, you have a complaint process that
you would file a complaint with the appropriate entity. Usually it's the Department of Real Estate or the Realtors Association. And by the way, for that process, both for us advertising other brokers' listings or somebody advertising ours, there's a difference between the realtor requirements and the regulatory requirements of the Department of Real Estate as to what has to be done. So if you're not sure of that, just reach out to us and we'll help you through it.
Right. Quick hits, real quick. If you're unable to perform your duties quickly, the agent must expeditiously notify the designated broker. That is a new update to a statute.
Yeah.
I know that there's some clarifications being sought from the Department of Real Estate as to what expediently being able to perform your duties means, but that is a new update to one of the rules. So just if you're out of, whatever it is, out of country or out of state, or you're doing something, you need to make sure that your business is handled. Okay. You can't just let that fall or push it to the wayside. It needs to be handled usually by having somebody else, step in your place. And
that is now a statutory requirement.
Correct.
So if you don't do that, you could be found in violation. And obviously, we're here to help you. So if you know that you're going to have a problem, and the statute, from a standpoint of having to do all your business expeditiously, that has not changed.
Correct.
You still have to do that. So.
Yep. Something that we haven't talked about at all over the last several months is fingerprint clearance cards. Have you heard of these?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You're going to need to make sure that you update them. Okay. The Department of Real Estate now has a section on your license when you pull up your license, that talks about your fingerprint clearance card. They expire every 6 years. I don't know that any of us have kept up with that, but it is now being it's being paid attention to by the Department of Real Estate. They want to make sure that you're on track with that. So
that is a big one, and I'm thankful for bringing that up. And we often get the comment, well, my fingerprints haven't changed since I got my license. Why do I got to do this? Well, there's a couple of reasons. Yeah. One is I'm not sure how far back it goes, but the department, actually any licensing entity, including the Department of Real Estate in the state of Arizona, is tied to the DPS fingerprint clearances. And so in the past, licensees had a responsibility to disclose any kind of criminal activity that they were involved in, and they had to disclose that within 10 days, which didn't really happen on a regular basis. With these new fingerprint clearance cards, those are now tied to the Department of Safety, and so the Department of Safety will automatically notify the Department of Real Estate. It doesn't relieve you of your obligation to do the disclosure, but this prevents people from slipping through the cracks by not disclosing until they get discovered, and then it's not so good. So that's another reason that they have the requirement for the new fingerprint clearance card. There's a question about when they have to be able to do that. My understanding is it's not going to be mandatory to renew licenses until 2027, but between now and 2027, it's get her done, because there's going to be it's not only the Department of Real Estate, but there's going to be a huge people trying to get their fingerprint clearance card.
We're getting a lot of questions about fingerprint clearance card stuff. So if you go into your account inside of ADRE, log into your ADRE account like you do when you upload your CE hours, you're going to see a box. It's going to say update your fingerprint clearance card, and there's going to be a button that's going to let you click on it. It's going to walk you through all of ADRE's requirements on the kind of fingerprint clearance card you need to have, how you get it renewed. If you don't have it, there's costs involved, so you need to go through that process. This is an ADRE thing, not a West USA thing.
Correct.
So please follow that link, follow their instructions to answer any of the questions you may have today.
Yeah, and right now it's a pretty innocuous process, and it doesn't take more than about a week or 10 days.
Your designated broker just went through it.
Same.
So-
I did it too, and it was fairly. If I can do it, anybody can do it.
Why don't we just have a do a lunch and learn with it? Have them come in.
Yeah.
It's a 5-minute process. It's really not that complicated.
Mhm.
We'll make it easier.
We did get a question that came in regarding rejected offers.
Yes.
If I get a rejected offer, does the listing agent need to sign and return to the buyer's agent and then upload to the dashboard in the timeline to do that? And the timeline to do that. What is the timeline to do that?
For our agents, I would say best practice and professional courtesy is to absolutely prove that you submitted and presented your offer to your seller and that they rejected it by utilizing page 10 of the purchase contract. Timeline is there. I mean, timeline is just, I would say, immediately after presenting, right? From a buyer standpoint, you're not every brokerage and or agent is going to subscribe to that. You guys all know this because you'll get people who don't to follow that path. You can ask. They just the code of ethics says that they have to affirmatively. They don't have to give you something in writing. I guess at the end of the day, they have to just basically state, yes, I have presented the offer
To the seller. So if you
Correct.
can't get it back, that's again where you have your emails asking for it.
Correct.
Yeah. So,
We're still having some questions on fingerprint clearance cards. So just to clarify that, yes, the department has flip-flopped a handful of times
Correct.
over the last 6 months regarding fingerprint clearance cards. Their last and most recent update, and this is the one we're going to follow, is that they do want fingerprint clearance card renewed. So you have the next year to follow those rules. I would do it sooner than later because their system is still manual, and it will take a little bit of time the deeper into 2026 you go.
yeah. And this is the high level of the changes. There's lots of other stuff going on. So keep your ears and eyes open for changes.
Yeah, and I mean, as we kind of wrap this up, again, if you have any questions, our broker team is available to you. We wanted to get our brokers on here. We already had Kyle coming on, and he's always looking for content, so we figured we'd provide that for him. But there was a lot of confusion last week in the way ADR rolled this out, so we appreciate everybody joining us. Hopefully, we've been able to explain that it really isn't all that big of a deal. It's not all that big of a change. There are some stuff on our end that is some stuff we're going to have to work through for our agents.
Correct.
And I just ask, as I always do, patience. We're going through this at the brokerage level and our staff at the same time that our agents are. So if you see a weird or a confusing file requirement, don't get upset. Don't take it personally.
Call me.
Yeah, just reach out to us and talk to us, and let's work together through this as we have done for the last couple of years as we keep seeing some things change.
All right, is that it?
That's enough for now.
That's enough. Part due next Monday. All right. Just reminding everybody, we are going to be off the next 2 Mondays, and coming back on Monday, January 5th, with our President CEO Clint Fouts. Some huge West USA news for 2026. So we're looking forward to that, and leave everybody with the quote of the day: "Every no, Kyle, gets you closer to a yes. Persistent pays it."
Oh, my quote. It should say.
All right. Go out and sell a home.